Oh my goodness, what's going on, everybody? How are y'all tonight? Uh, when I say, hold on, I am still getting my life together over here and everything. Uh, I feel like it's been a minute since I did a good self-reflection show. And so I thought, you know what? I've had some things that happened here recently that I feel like, you know what? I need to self-reflect. I'm waiting on Rick. I'm gonna tell you about it. I told him I'm gonna tell this business because Rick is in the bathroom one day, y'all. So Rick is here, but he's in the bathroom right there. Hold on, let me fix my camera. Here he comes.
Man, bathroom smell like woman and that toasted ass marshmallow hands you got.
Oh,
Here.
okay, well, it's supposed I am a woman in the bathroom. It's supposed to smell like a woman. I had to breathe in here. You come in and I remember the bathroom. Like, what it's supposed to smell like.
I was like, your hands smell good.
It's better than it smell like something else, man. Shit. But when I say y'all, I am still recuperating from getting this house ready and that housewarming and that whole weekend. Like I went nonstop that entire weekend. And when I say I was exhausted, shit. And it's saying that I'm still exhausted. And that was what, a week ago.
Yeah. You put a lot of days work in. The fact that you cleaned off the patio, I was like, in the right hand.
And did you know I had Blue come out and had Reggie's junk removal come out and take out all the stuff that was in the yard, all that. I was like, you know what? I'm not holding on to that stuff. Taking on, if I regret it later, oh well, I regret it later. Because the shed is packed. I can get good else in this shed. Like, take that on. Like, ugh. But you know what? Everything turned out great. It was a nice crowd. And the funny thing is, I went and rented chairs from Art Pancake. Yeah, I got chairs and cocktail tables from Art Pancake. And at first, I didn't got any chairs. I just got the cocktail tables. And I was like, ooh, let me get some chairs just in case. But my whole concept was use the cocktail tables so people would stand and talk as opposed to looking for somewhere to sit down. And if you think about it, I didn't use those chairs. People were mostly standing up talking at the cocktail tables or at the island. So yeah, it worked out really well. But I had a time. I enjoyed myself. I'm still getting gifts from it. I just wrote down all the Amazon boxes today.
Well, at least I can get you something you wanted.
What I tell you, I'm so happy with both my gifts.
I told you, I'm getting something you want.
You most definitely got me something I wanted. When I say I was so happy, I love my little handheld vacuum. It's amazing. Love it, love it, love it. And I can't wait for them to send me the correct color on my manicure. I was so pissed when I opened up that box.
Because it's the right color on Amazon.
Yes, it says cardinal red, but they sent me poppy red.
Yeah, I was like, because when you show picture, I was like,
Yeah, it don't flow with the kitchen at all. I was so upset about that because I was so excited about that manicure because it's gonna be perfect right there on my little coffee station. I just ordered me a coffee cup stand and some monogram coffee cups. I can't wait till they come. But here's we're supposed to be talking about. We're gonna get communication. My cousin was like, "Don't get it. I got monogram. They still have handles on like a couple of, but they have a lid." And she was like, "To me, lid to go." And I was like, "Yeah, but I know me. Like, I need a lid." So they're supposed to be here next week. I only did the red. I want red and gray, but I only ordered the red so I can see how it looks. I still, you know, it's just because I'm the light over here. When I look on the screen, I'm not as light, but I think it's just
yeah, you can fight that.
no. I'm like, bro, it's black when I'm drawing out light. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. I can't help it. I'm like, I'm cute, but uh, and I said, I don't know. No. So, so I can't wait till they come in and I can see what it looks like and get my little coffee station set up over there. I'm really going to bring my kitchen together and bring the living room. Like, everything's looking good. Even though when we still said we brought a color fucking couch,
Yeah.
but I have to admit that the couch looks amazing with the
Yeah.
rug.
You man.
I really wish I really wish I could. I can't. I hate the judges. I really do because I really want to go up there and just really act the fool. I ain't been up there yet. I went off on the little customer service rep girl when she called me, and she was like, "I'm sorry about your miscommunication. I was miscommunication. He lied to me. He lied to me." But that's what here and there because the color couch that I received actually does go with the room and really goes really well with the rug I chose.
Yeah.
It just messed up my color scheme.
I think I fucked up that jeans.
Like you look crazy.
I feel like
I don't know. You thought you were gonna be a good people with them tight ass jeans
I
on.
was like, jeans get tight. I've been tripping off this all day.
What, your tight jeans?
Yeah.
You been in them all day?
Nah, I wish I could. Well, I guess I could.
Shoot, I just put on clothes not that long ago. I've been in my pajamas all day. Well, actually, my house dress. I can't say pajamas. It's my house dress. You know, us ladies, we have, dresses, shirts, things just on, and we get it on. Sometimes it depends on where I'm going. I might wear
But you ain't got to do a camel meeting.
No,
Oh,
no, not often. We do a monthly meeting. So once a month, yeah, we have a meeting and I get to put on some clothes. But I hate to when somebody wants to meet. Like, Tyler, when you come, we ain't got to turn the cameras on. Like, why I got to turn the camera on? Like, I hate that. Because here I go, damn, now I got to fish my hair, put on the actual shirt. I'm leaving it up so they don't get to see much of it. Like, I ain't trying to do all of that. But anyway, let's get to tonight's topic, y'all. Because when I say it has been a minute since I did a good self-reflection. You know, we used to talk about I used to do self-reflections all the time, and I have not done a good self-reflection in a long time. And so tonight, I thought I would do a self-reflection. And I chose communication for a specific reason. Because I have had a couple of incidents in the last few weeks that I feel like were issues with communication. And so I wanted to take a step back. I had to take a step back and look at myself and say, because I'm all about is how we think that we're being perceived, actually the way that people are perceiving us. Right. So I had to take a step back and look at myself from that perspective. And I learned a couple of things about myself. Just a couple of things. Because one of the things the person said to me was, we were discussing, I'm gonna say debate over communication. Okay. Now to me, communication is two people sharing their perspectives and attempting to get an understanding of the other person's perspective. You know, it ain't about right or wrong. It's about, okay, can I understand, why you see it the way you do? You understand why I see it the way I do. So we try to communicate. Debate is what it is. People are sharing their perspective because you're trying to outdo the other person. You're trying to show why your perspective is better than the other person's perspective. And so because I told this person, I said, because you like to debate. I said, I don't like to debate. They was like, what do you mean? How a person who debates every week on their show say they don't like to debate? And I said, no, I don't debate on my show. No. My show is about being open to different perspectives. And so it made me want to take a step back because could it be the way that I'm sharing my perspective is what makes people think that maybe I'm trying to debate over communicate?
Because when I go back and look at it, well, I'm here live. So to me, that's chaos. I already know that's how I see you. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure when other people see you, they're like, wait a minute, she's strong-willed. She's trying to make you believe what she believes. I said, no, that's just how she talks.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm always open. If you can, I mean, you showed me a different perspective on things. You'd be like, no, here's why I'm like, okay, you know what, Rick, I never thought about it that way. So yes, I am very strong-willed and set in what I believe, but I'm also open to if you can show me something different, right? And what you're saying to me logically makes sense. I most definitely am willing to step back and go, okay, I can see that. I can accept that.
That's the best way to deal with you because if I come at you trying to stroke your emotions,
no, you can't stroke my emotions. You can't.
But see, I don't like women that would fall into
that. That is very true. That I can agree with that. That is very true. Because women are mostly emotional. But for me, I'm a logic person all day. You gotta make it make sense to me before I can jump on the bandwagon.
More and more women are becoming smarter and dealing with being logically, getting on their level and swaying me in the door.
Well, we have to, and see, and you're making me jump subjects. But that's the thing. That was one of the things I was going to talk about tonight too. Is what type of communicator? If you think you're a communicator, what type of communicator are you? And most often, women, and we have different types, and one of them was that what I call the silent communicator. And I actually used to be a silent communicator. I never told people how I felt, but expected them to know.
Talking about, I'm getting it.
Yeah, he got that Joe, and I'm trying to warn him. I'm tuning him out big time, but he is still at this door just whining. But yeah, I'm Tiger. Go lay down. Go lay down. He ain't gonna worry me. But yeah, I honestly used to be that way, and now what I find that I do sometimes, if I don't feel like it's worth me expressing how I feel, I just walk away and leave it alone.
Okay, but in that case, when you do that, aren't you hurting the other person by not letting them?
Yeah.
And the only reason why I can say this is because I'm exactly like that. Because once I'm done,
once I'm done, I'm done.
It's like you Charlie Brown teacher talking to me.
Yeah, I can't continue with you once I'm done. And the funny thing about it, the person I was having the discussion with about debate, and that's what I said to them. I said, "You like to debate? I don't like to debate." And I said, "We keep going until I shut it down with my typical LOL okay." Because I'm not going to keep going back and forth. And so they were like, "Well, no." So then they said, because I said my description of debate was people, two different parties, sharing their perspective, one trying to show what their perspective is better than the other, right? And so then he came back and said, well, they came back and said, and they came back and said, um, then if that's the case, if what you say is true, if that's the case, and you and I have never debated because I've never told you you were wrong. I said that right there in itself is a debate because you found something from your perspective to try to show that my perspective is incorrect. The typical definition of a debate. Like, you want to keep this going and it's not necessary. So that's why you get that LOL. Okay.
Yeah, mine normally it goes quick. I gotta work on it because I'm bad. I mean, like I'm the worst because once I say what I gotta say, to me the conversation's over.
Yeah.
Now you can say what you gotta say.
Well, I can't say that for you. The conversation's not over. I'm gonna continue to listen, depending on what it is.
No, see, I gotta work on that because I don't listen. Because what now? Say like if I'm bothered about something, I go silent. So my partner would have to talk me out of. That's easy to do, but you just got to know how to do it.
Well, if you're with somebody who knows you, then they understand that's your personality type. And to like you say, your partner knows how to get you out of that. But I'm kind of the same way. When I'm doing something, I shut down, and sometimes I can be, if I'm being really honest, even when I shut down, sometimes I'm a little,
Dismissed.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Very dismissed. And when they told me, and I thought about it, I said, "Damn, I guess it's not being fair." So
It's not being fair. I agree with that. But at what point? Because if it's somebody who likes to keep going on and on, like at what point do you cut it off?
yeah, I mean that is, yeah. I don't know what to cut it.
And see, now I'm gonna at least let you get out what you're trying to say. And I think for me, because I'm all about being open to the other perspectives.
Right.
And if I feel like you're not open to mine, and you really trying to just shut it down, and no matter what I say, this is your perspective and your perspective only, that doesn't work for me.
Right.
Then I really just shut it down and got nothing else to talk about. And I'm gonna walk away from it. Like, why? Because everything that I say, you're gonna be in debate mode, and you're going to be trying to find something instead of trying to listen to understand. And I didn't know about that. Listen to understand as opposed to listening to respond.
Right.
And I think too, as I self-reflected, one of the things about my communication style that irritates people is I'm the type that it's not necessarily that I give you a different perspective. It's not necessarily my perspective. I usually, depending on what the topic is, try to open you up to the other person's. If it's a relationship issue or whatever, the other person's perspective. And I think sometimes people don't like when I ask them to look at themselves. Because I'll be like, well, you just told me such and such and such and such. Because I'm going to listen.
Yeah.
And so how can you say this when you just told me? And so they don't like when you flip it back, the light back on them. Because I know I don't like when people do that to me sometimes. Because I be like, I didn't ask you about me. We talk about you. You know what I'm saying? I don't like it with people. So I can understand that, but I'm good at that. I do it all the time.
Yeah.
I do it all the time. So I can see why, because what tends to happen is people become defensive. I've noticed they come defensive, and I'm like, but I'm just trying to show you. It's like I'm not trying to tell you you're wrong.
Right.
It's not about right or wrong. I'm just trying to give you a different perspective, and sometimes that different perspective is not always perceived.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I know about myself too, I have no empathy. My empathy is love. And so I understand how people can become defensive by my delivery because my empathy is love.
I'm trying to work on that. It's a whole. I got a whole bunch of stuff I can work.
You know what? I can't even lie and say because I don't know how to work on empathy. I don't know how you work on that.
Yeah.
Because typically I have a different perspective. And my perspective doesn't really, because it's always logical. Most of it, I won't say always, most of the time, my perspective is a logical perspective. And when you look at it logically, it's very difficult to add any emotion, empathy, or sympathy, or anything in there.
It is.
Because I'm looking at it like that doesn't make sense. I don't even know what you're looking about. I'm confused. So why, you know, that bothers you, like that makes no sense to me. And so I have no empathy.
Yeah.
I gotta work on that. I gotta work on that. And I think people don't understand how important it is to know how you communicate and how people perceive that communication.
Mm-hmm.
Because no matter what you say, if they're not perceiving it the way you want them to perceive it, then it's going to be taken negative. And I really, because I had so many instances these last few weeks, I'm like, you know what? I need to really think, because I be thinking, okay, I mean, you know, I mean, cool, I mean, and then when they ask me, okay, well, hold on, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just trying to get you to open up your mind to a different perspective.
And I get it to what it said. I hear the words coming out your mouth, but your face is saying something else.
I mean, I can control my face.
Now, my face looks the same all the time. I can be saying,
I can say that's true because you are expressionless.
yeah, for most times,
It's rare I take a picture. You know, like every time I take a picture, you with a nice smile.
oh, you did it.
Yeah. Because you are really. I can agree with that. You are now me. My facial expression be everywhere all day long. Because I'm looking at you like you be like I hear what you're saying, but your face looking at me like I'm crazy as hell. And I'm like, okay.
You know, a lot, the majority of the time, my face may say, whatever. But, I understand what you're saying. They were like, yeah,
But your mannerisms, yeah. And I've had that too. I mean, I had to be down on because I'm like, why are people thinking, and I'm always quick to say, no, it's not, because it's not about what you're wrong.
Right.
It's not about what you're wrong. It's about, I just want you to be open to a different perspective. And oftentimes when I finally would say that, we'll go back and we'll be like, wait a minute now, wait a minute. And then they'll settle back and be like, okay. But in the beginning, I don't know. I struggle. I struggle with communicating open to, and I guess because I am, I 100% get it and understand how people would take me as being forceful.
Yeah. I hear it all.
Yeah. I can see where people would think that I'm being forceful, but that's just why I'm a direct person, and it's just who I am, and so I'm a blunt, straightforward. But I'm always open to a different perspective.
Yeah, I think my communication, I have to work on what I say. whatever I think, it comes out. That's why a lot of times I sit back and let it process before I say something because I can say something really.
Yeah, I had to learn to do that. I had to learn to definitely stop and think before I speak, and which is especially if I'm mad. I can't even communicate with you right now. You're gonna have to allow me an opportunity to pull myself together, and then we can talk.
Yeah,
But yeah, yeah. 'Cause you don't ain't no telling what might come out of my mouth if I'm mad, and so allow me that opportunity to calm myself down, and then we can have this conversation. I'm open to the conversation, but you got to let me calm down. And oftentimes people are not willing to do that because the day in the moment, especially if they're emotional, they want their answers, they want to have that discussion right then and there. Yeah, you don't need to push me to have that discussion. You're not gonna like what's gonna come out if you push me to have that discussion.
because if I said once I say it,
You can't take it back.
and then if you ask me if I said it, I said it.
Yeah, you can't. Once it comes out, you can't take it back, which is why I don't like to really communicate when I'm angry.
Yeah.
But I will say the other thing that I ran across, because this actually affects me, was the person asked because I was trying to get them to be open to a different perspective. And they was like, well, you my friend, you're supposed to be on my side. And I'm saying, well, as your friend, I can't always agree with you. As your friend, I have to be able to show you a different perspective that leads to growth and you being open to other things. But sometimes I guess you can't make people grow if they don't want to grow.
That's right.
So I'm gonna tell you, my self reflection, this is two questions that came out with asking myself. And you have to remember I do empathize with people, but my empathy is really low. Every personality test that I have ever taken, my empathy has been low. So I know this about myself. I try to be cognitive of it, but I know this about myself. But here's what I came out with, because it's about me being honest. One was that everybody don't always want to hear another perspective. Sometimes people just want you to listen. I try to listen sometimes. Whew, I'm gonna have to learn it. Because it don't ask me what I think. Because if you ask me what I think, I'm gonna have to tell you. But and I agree because I'm like that. Sometimes I don't want to hear you. I don't need you to solve my problem. I just want you to listen to me. And so I have to learn how to be in that moment if it's the time for my. And depending on the subject, yeah.
Yeah.
If it's something serious, then I understand. Yeah, I'm gonna let you vent because I know you and your emotionalness about that moment. I think where I guess I miss it is in like random conversations about relationships or different things. You say something to me about, so and so and so and so, and I'm be like, but okay, great, but what about, you be like, but then I don't want to hear this other perspective. I'm just. So I guess I got to learn how to be cognitive of that. That's something I need to work on. Um, I did realize that yes, I am a very direct person, and that can come off as intimidating to people and put them in a defensive mode.
Yeah.
So I have to be mindful of that as well. Okay. Those are the things that I took away from me. But on the other side of my non-empathy says, is any of this really my fault or my problem? I can't control how you react to me. I can control how I present myself to you, but I really can't control how you react to me. So it's a lot of things that I have to be mindful of. But one of the things, I don't want to continue to people feel like I'm being so forceful.
Yeah.
And really, I'm the first one. You say, well, now, okay, all this like, I be like, oh, okay, but tell me.
But they don't know. So, well, no, I take that back. You know you probably think the same thing.
People You know what? No, I don't know. The people who really know me know
Yeah.
it is nothing to get me to stop and listen. People who really know me. That's because honestly, the majority of my friends, I am the one they call to talk to about situations.
Yeah.
Or different things and what's going on. So I am that confident type person. And people always like, even strangers, I can be the stranger. They like they can just tell me their life story. I don't know what it is about me that makes people feel that way.
You get out and they just like when we was at the lake.
People just want to tell me everything.
I was like, okay.
I'm telling you, the kids tease me about it. They be like, whenever we go, you know, shit, damn, you say, hell, I can't take you away when we go, you know somebody. It's like we went out there to the condo in the airport and I ran into somebody who knew me. So she's like, damn, I can't. So people are drawn to me. So that I do know, but I do understand because these ways, now granted, I have to say that the people that I'm referring to in the conversation is a little bit more to the dynamic of it, but I wanted to see me from their perspective. And so it's always important for me to take a step back and try to see myself from their perspective. Because one of I kept having like, no, I'm not saying you wrong. I'm just trying to open you up to a different perspective. Like you just told me things felt different. You can't say it felt different and then say you don't believe. Like so let's be open to another perspective. But they really didn't. They weren't trying to hear that. And sometimes people are sitting in their ways and they're really not trying to hear that. But and I think here's my other trick. You can't keep coming complaining about the same thing. And we didn't have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
We not keep talking this.
See,
that's where my lack comes in.
Okay, Kira.
Next time. That's just where my lack of empathy comes in because you have control over that. You keep making the same decision, expecting a different outcome. You can't keep coming to me complaining about the same thing and you keep making the same decision. And I keep trying to offer you a different perspective and a different, okay, I need you to see this from a different viewpoint. You can't keep coming to me complaining about that.
Oh, I get it.
You just can't. But I get how people, because I am a really blunt. No nonsense. This is my point. Share your perspective type person.
Yeah.
I really am. I can see that. I can see that. Most definitely, I can see that about myself. I can see that.
I guess mine is quiet and just it's blunt.
I guess maybe because me and you have a moment. I haven't seen that side of you. I think, wow.
That's because I'm normally laid back and it's just like I'm just
Yeah, and that's why we work.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, I know.
Yeah.
When she wanted us to reach out, I want your opinion, I asked for your opinion. And I mean, otherwise, you're like, oh, I'm going to show up on Friday at 8 o'clock, and it works. I tell people that all the time. I said, no, me and Rick we never had a disagreement or an argument. It ain't about the show. Like, because you know what? And that's the thing. And see, this is one of the things that I struggle with. That people see my confidence, people see my strength, and they make an assumption that I am to take charge, want to be in charge, it's got to be my way type of person.
Yeah.
And that's not really who I am. But my take charge can fix it. If I see a problem, we can handle it. I'm gonna take care of it. I'm gonna fix it. That came from my upbringing. Even though I was the baby, I took care of my family. Like, and I always tell a story because this really sticks in my head about how my mama went into the hospital. She had this hysterectomy. I was 13. She went and had a hysterectomy. I was 13. My brother was 16. My sister was 17. My mama left me in charge. I was responsible for making sure, we went to grocery when we got groceries and the bills got paid and all because back then, you was in the hospital for a while. I think she's been almost a week for a hysterectomy now. You in there and out the next day. But I'm used to being, I had to.
Yeah.
I grew up like I took care of this family.
Yeah.
And so that's where that comes from. I don't have time to be emotional because I can't stumble because I feel like I'm the support. Well, I used to. I took myself out of that question. But I used to feel like I was the support. And so if I stumbled, there was no one to support me. So I didn't have no choice but to be strong.
Yeah.
And so that's where that comes from. And where now, honestly, I'm so ready for somebody to come in and start taking care of me. You want to come in and take care of me? Ooh, take care of me. As long as we ain't doing nothing crazy, I'm open to follow your lead. You ain't gonna come in here and drive me into the dirt. But if you come in and you got, first of all, if I trust you to allow you to come into my presence, I'm gonna follow your lead as a man.
Yeah.
And so, but people see my strength and my confidence and my ability to do things as, oh, she wants to be in charge. And I get it. But really and truly, no, I handle shit because I ain't got no choice but to handle shit.
I think that's the type of woman I like, though. I don't like the little ones that can't do nothing. And I ain't never had. I mean, you got to be able to do. If I need help moving the couch, you get on that other end and bring it.
Right. And that's, shoot, I'm always in the way that goes to Home Depot. Some man come try to help, and I'm in there trying to help too. Like, let me help you, move this. But that's just who I am. It's not about me wanting to be in control. It's just who I am. And that's the mindset. So I understand when people see that. Because that's something you can't just turn off. It's in who I am. Now, I did have to learn. I had to learn to step away because what I realized, oftentimes, I was taking on the load and nobody asked me to put on that load. But I felt like I had to fix it. And I felt like I had to put on that load. And so I had to learn. You can't keep getting mad because you made the decision to take on the load and then they don't appreciate you for it. Then you won't be mad about it. What they didn't ask you to do? So you can't be mad. So I had to learn to take a step back and be like, you know what? You're right. You grown. You grown. You grown. I can't continue to make decisions for you. I can't continue to do these things and then be mad. Because you didn't ask me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I had to learn to step back and stay in my place.
Yeah, I guess I don't get people. You have to directly ask me. If not, ain't got nothing to do with it.
That's not who I am. If I see, I am the type of person, and it's just how I was brought up. I'm so used to taking care of people. I'm the type of person, if I see you got something going on and you struggling with it, I'm going to try to help you, whether you ask me to or not. It's just who I am. I'm an earth sign. We're motherers, we're nurturers. I'm going to try to help and fix it. Because I see a loved one that's suffering, and so now I want to help and fix it. But people don't always want your help. And that's what I had to learn. You can't always just come in and I be like, hey, I got this. That's just who I got it. You be like, well, did nobody ask you come in and do all that, and then I'm looking at you, well, I just solved your problem.
Can't always come in and run.
Exactly. Exactly. But I was used to always taking care of things. And it was hard for me to get out of that mindset of I gotta take care of this family. That's my role. My job is to take care of people. And it took me a minute to get out of that mindset. Everybody don't want you to take care of them. So you can't go around here trying to take care of everybody, which is why people think that you always want to be in control. It's just my desire to take care of you, if that makes sense. And so I had to learn to step back because I don't like to see people, and like I don't want you to fall. So I'm trying to hold you up, and I had to learn to stop that and let people fall. If you fall, you be all right. You're gonna get back up.
It's lifeless.
Exactly. And I had to learn to do that. I had to learn to allow people to stumble on their own and learn how to get back up and stop trying to solve everybody's problems. Worry about your own problems if you try to solve everybody else's problems. That's what I had to learn to do. It took me a minute. But I definitely see why people see me the way they do. Definitely.
I always wondered how people how they saw me. I've had a couple of them say, "You just don't. You seem uninterested."
You do. You are very nonchalant.
Yeah.
Very, very nonchalant. Like, oh yeah.
Yeah. And it does not take much. I have to.
And that's what angers people because we want you to care. See, my problem is I care too much. People think you don't care enough. Maybe that's why
And it's bad because I have to work on it at work because sometimes well we want to do it this way, but all right. And I know my way is better, but you ain't asking so.
See, I can't.
And then I have, and then I have to fight it back, no, because it's all gonna fall back on me when it's messed up. So I tell them, I say, we need to do it this way.
See, I'm a little opposite. As soon as you come through with it, I'm about to tell you now. Well, why can't we do it this way? And that's something I work on too at work because I had to realize sometimes you got to let people do. Yeah, let the people manage their own departments. And as a matter of fact, I had this conversation with my girlfriend. I told her, stop trying to tell the people how to do their job. Now, I see it because I used to be that way. And sometimes I fall back in there and just stop trying to tell the people how to do their job. And you just come in, clock in, do your work, and go home.
And it's funny because I had a conversation earlier in the week. Me and the guy, we had a disagreement. He thought strongly one way, I thought strongly the other way. And he was like, man, this just ain't right. I said, no, we just gonna have to agree to disagree. Right. He said, all right, you right. And then he went going on against, oh, what? I said, once I said that, it's over.
Right.
The conversation on that is over. Don't,
we got nothing else to talk about.
You talk about something else. Don't talk about this. It's over.
We agreed to disagree.
All they do is laugh and say, you're right.
That's one of my favorites. You don't have to agree to disagree on it. But I'm gonna tell you, oftentimes I try to see the other person's perspective. And I'll be like, okay, I see your perspective, but let me offer you another. And I think that's what people don't want to hear. Yeah. But I can't change it. That's who I am. Because to me, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm like that. Because to me, being open to other perspectives is about growth. Mm-hmm. Because you never know. You may understand something new. When I tell you, you have taught me so many things about men in our conversations. I'm like, okay, help me understand why. Help me to understand why. Why are we going through this? Why this? And then when you tell me, I'm like, okay.
And it's simple.
I hadn't seen it that way. And so that's why I'm so into being open to other perspectives. And I feel like once you open up your mind to seeing something from the other person's viewpoint, you see things in a different light.
Right.
And I feel like sometimes people get so self-centered and focused on self, they forget there's somebody else involved in it as well.
Yeah.
It can't always be all about you. And when you make it all about you, somebody in the equation is suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't recognize that suffering, that's when problems come in. And especially when that other person can't communicate, they're suffering.
Yeah.
Now, I find it, remember I said, I used to be a silent communicator. I'm learning to tell you, because I don't like to deal with emotions. I really don't. Hey,
Look.
did you think that I wasn't gonna see your big ass come up in here? Out, out, and people are like, "Who she talking? Get out, get out,"
Hey, and they won't come over and read.
because he already knew. Don't you go over here? Go lay down. Lord have mercy, y'all. That's my dog. I don't think he made it onto camera. He's tried to ease on his way on over there to work my last. I'm gonna tell you, them dogs are so spoiled.
Hey, they rushed me. I was like, okay, let me get in. Let me get in.
You know what the sad part is? And I know we have to jump off subject. I designed the house around me.
Yeah.
Like all the rugs and rugs, because I know that's gonna be their spots. Like they got pillows and beds and everywhere in the freaking house. It's ridiculous. But they spoiled asses.
Yeah. Hey, I walk in, Tiger, he bumped me like, where you been? I'm like,
oh my God, let me tell you my type of story. So now that I got the woman cave back together. And you know what? We're going to go ahead and get off of here, actually. We're going to go ahead, y'all, and close out because I'm about to get in here. We're going to go off on another. We had 48 minutes anyway. It's almost time. We're going to end this. Thank y'all for tuning in. I don't even think we had but a few listeners tonight.